My name is Mary Mintz, and I spoke before as well. I am not even approaching this from the aspect of whether it should or should not be done, whether this is good business. I'm looking at the law, and I have a lot of questions left as to how you are doing this legally. For instance, first thing, why hasn't Lifeways changed their legal name since they became an authority? 1997 they became an authority, but they still have the name as the Jackson Hillsdale Community Mental Health Board. A community mental health board is an agency of the county. They are not an agency of the county. They are an authority, and they are a separate government entity, and that needs to be corrected. Why is Kathy Schmidt still on the board? She's not a part of this body anymore. Why is there not a commissioner, a second commissioner from this board on Lifeways? How can the county issue a bond for construction on property that's owned by the authority? And if you say, oh, because they're going to deed it over to us, well, how can they deed it over to you? They're a separate entity. How are they going to say, yeah, we spent $170,000 on this, but it's okay, we're going to just give it to them for 20 years, and then they got to give it back? It's ridiculous. How can the county issue a limited tax bond when you've already levied the maximum allowable tax for this year? You're supposed to be able to show that you can levy a tax on us if you have to pay the principal and interest amounts, somewhere between $780,000 and $1 million. You don't have any tax left to issue on us. So if it's not a limited tax bond, an unlimited tax bond has to go through the people. So how are you doing it? Where's the law? How can the authority even request a bond? The authority is governed by laws as well, and their law says that to secure financing for a capital improvement, finance or refinance it, that they have to get a mortgage. And it also says that they cannot indebt any government entity other than themselves. Well, we're not them. And this is indebting us. Where's the law? How does this benefit the people of Hillsdale County? As they said, this is not going to stop them from building if you say no. They're going to still go through with it. You know that this is less than 1% of their budget to make these payments? Less than 1%. $1 million a year is way more than that for us. We have $16 million. They got 120. This doesn't benefit the people overall because you got 1,400 people being served by them, and you're spending over 11 grand per person to give them a new building so that they can keep their certification. That's not our responsibility. Yes, we need an authority. We are required to have an authority. But if they're going to keep illegally coming to us for money, we need to find a different authority. Can the authority contract with the construction manager? They're going to make all the decisions on the construction. But you're supposed to be building it. If it's your property and you're building it, you're getting the bond. It's in our name. Where is the paperwork that they presented to you in November of last year? They had a contract. They had a lease. I notice you haven't presented that again to the public, and you haven't had your lawyers look at it. Are you aware that if this board issues a bond and is found to be not authorized by state statute or against a state statute, you all will lose your ability to issue bonds without prior written consent and approval from the Department of Treasury? You willing to risk that? Are you that certain that you're not violating any laws by doing this? Because to me, it sure as heck looks like you've got collusion between two different government entities in order to circumvent the law. So I'm not convinced. So I hereby issue the following notice of intent to the Hillsdale County Board of Commissioners and Lifeways. As a citizen of Hillsdale County,
Ma'am, Your time.
Upon execution of the notice of intent to issue
Ma'am.
bonds, I will file a complaint in the First
Mary,
Judicial
your
Circuit
time is
Court.
up.
I'm almost done.
You're allowed 5 minutes and your time is up.
She can have mine.
I will issue
No.
file a complaint in the First Judicial Circuit Court for temporary injunction and summary judgment based on the laws. That's all I have for you. Give me 2 seconds.